Magic in the morning. There's your share fix, a song for the lonely. 25 minutes from now, it'll be 9 o'clock, and we'll bring you any developments in our news. And in with us this morning, able to make it the long way in from the other side of East St. Johnsbury, Mike Barrett and Little Man.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Did you have to take the detour?
No, so I grabbed Interstate 93 out of Waterford, connected to 91, came up and got off here in Linneville. So for me, no problems. But yeah, 4 inches that bridge, you know where that bridge is by Severance Hill Road, right? We still call it the Don's Wayside, right? If you're local, you still call it Don's Wayside. But they're saying that bridge dropped 4 inches just yesterday as a result of the rains last week.
Yeah, that was horrible. And Dennis, a longtime listener, called and alerted us because now look, VTrans is busy. All of the road crews are busy. So they closed the road, but he said that whichever way he came in, they couldn't see a detour. Folks, we're talking about Route 2 between Severance Hill Road to Concord. You got to seek alternative routes for the time being.
Which most likely will be Route 18 to Waterford and then crossroad from Waterford down into Concord by the Concord School and by the fire department.
Yeah,
so,
the back road.
Which is not a road that's probably in great condition anyway, because I'm sure that got some washout as well. Everything else did. So.
All right. Mike Barrett, by the way, from Barrett Insurance Agency. And Tuesday mornings we have a segment called Good Policies. I don't think I need to ask what you want to talk about this morning.
Yeah, we have to, Jeff. It's the elephant in the room. Just driving through Linneville today and seeing all the devastation. And I saw it last Friday because I had to come up for some appointments. Seeing the large dumpster containers outside a lot of the local businesses, knowing how adversely they've been impacted, not just physically but emotionally. When you get waters like that really can toy with you. And my heart goes out to all of them. Yes, you're tapping me. What?
So, I think there might be some severe thunderstorms coming.
Oh, you're a weatherman now. Yeah, so he's saying there might be some thunderstorms coming. No, my son Ethan is here again today. So my heart goes out to them. Now, when it comes to flood, there's really only one way for flood to be covered, and that is to have flood insurance. You have to have flood insurance, and I'm speaking specifically of businesses and homes, property, even business, personal property, personal belongings. Without flood insurance, the sad truth of the matter is that you're just not going to have coverage. And remember, if you're not looking to get flood insurance for a loan closing, you're just looking to get it on your own, there is a 30-day wait period for the federal program, meaning that you can buy it today and it won't start till 30 days from today. So if something happens in that in-between time, you're kind of left to your own devices. So there's some very difficult conversations going on with people, I'm sure, across the Northeast Kingdom that have been so adversely impacted.
Well, I think I remember during last year's flooding that struck more the central portion of the state that we explained the reason why there's a 30-day wait period. So, like, if you're sitting there and you hear the forecast a couple of days out,
right,
you don't just call and get the coverage. You mentioned the emotional impact of this. I mean, this isn't about me, but I can tell you Thursday morning I was fearing for my life as the water was raging down what was left of my driveway, not knowing how high it gets. We talked to our friends at Linneville Beverage and Redemption. They have no idea when they're going to reopen again. Linneville Bagel Depot, same position.
Yeah, my heart goes out to them. And flood insurance covers flood. It doesn't really cover loss of business income. From what I remember from commercial flood policies. So now these guys are really going to face some hardships because business income protection is available on business policies, but they don't include floods. So there may be some real hardships for these for these local businesses. Make sure you give your love and support to them. But, the big thing to remember is that if you were impacted by flood, 211, and I think I've heard you say it many times, 211 is what you need to do. You need to report any kind of damage to 211. And the biggest calls, Jeff, we have probably the most amount of flood claims active right now at our agency that we've had since Irene. So that's going to be quite a process for a lot of our policyholders. Hopefully they're going to be handled properly and swiftly. But with this much of a magnitude of loss, claims adjusters, there's only so many of them, so it might be a slower process. But I want to let people know that if you had water in your basement or wash out of your driveway or things of that nature, sadly, those are not going to be covered perils. Check on the basement, though. If you have I have had a couple people reach out to me. They had floor drains that failed. In that case, if you do have backup of sewers and drains, you may have some level of coverage. I recommend, no matter what, call your insurance company and check. I tell people all the time in my business, filing a claim, in some cases, if we don't have their definitive answer, whether it's yes or no, do it anyway. because it's like buying a Powerball ticket. You don't win if you don't buy a ticket. You don't know if a claim's covered if you don't file it and have a company truly send an adjuster to it and have them look at it.
I was reading in the local news here that one of the local farms not only lost a whole bunch of crops due to this, but a couple of their employees are from the islands down
Jamaica,
that were impacted by Beryl.
Yeah,
so
the full
they've
strength
got
hurricane.
double the peril.
It's unbelievable, and the hardship for them is that's crop, and crop is not something that's covered other than crop insurance, which is a federally administrated program, which is its own, beast in its own right. But, for farmers, it's a good thing that if you have farm equipment or livestock that are lost in flood, that's one of those examples that for property that would be covered in many cases with many companies. So check on that if you don't know. Vehicles, if your car was parked in a spot that took on floodwater and you have comprehensive coverage, that's going to be responding to the peril of flood. So there is some stuff out there for people who suffer those types of losses.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I know one instance with a vehicle in water that will not be covered, and I witnessed it coming into work Friday when I was able to get into work. Somebody had driven into the floodwaters up here at the junctions of 114 and 122, intentionally driven into it.
Sadly, that's not good for them, but most likely will be covered. I don't know that the company would deny it based on them trying, so they'll probably have coverage for that as well. But it's just, the old adage, turn around, don't drown, is so darn true. You yourself, Jeff, mentioned you saw the force of Mother Nature, the force of water. You just don't know. You can look at the top of the surface of the water. You don't know what's underneath it, if anything is underneath it. I remember there was a storm a couple of years ago where I was coming here to chat with you, and I had this huge amount of guilt because by Lindeville Hardware, there was a huge amount of water, and I drove through it. And I'm like, what the heck did I just do? So it's easy to do if you're not thinking about it, but always turn around, don't drown. That's such a huge thing to consider.
Well, as we get ready to close it, let's just reference the sad loss of life in Peacham. So
there's a couple of folks who have perished in this. Our hearts and thoughts go out to them. I think there's GoFundMe pages set up for them. I think there's a GoFundMe page set up for the farm that you mentioned. The thing that I'm seeing, Jeff, and all the conversations we've had since Thursday is just, there's so much adversity in our world. People can fight, and have differences of opinions that just make them almost sworn enemies, and that goes away. That immediately goes away when something like this happens. Humankind kicks in. You're able to be with the people and help them. Some of the resources I've seen helping a family in Peacham that had their house completely destroyed is nothing short of miraculous and heartwarming versus heartbreaking. It's a good sense of community we have here.
All right, folks, questions on your insurance, contact Barrett Insurance Agency.
Yeah, give us a call, 748-5224. You can find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
Mike, thanks for coming in. You, Ethan, Jen, everybody at the office, be safe and keep up the good work.
Same to you, sir.
Good policies, Magic in the Morning, 8:35 on Tuesdays. Music from Sabrina Carpenter now.